Our final speaker comes from a family who arrived in Canada as refugees. She's a wonderful example of the many possibilities our country continues to benefit from. She's taken her unique perspective and leveraged it into a deep understanding and empathy for people facing challenges. She is a speaker, an author, with a new book about to be released called I Cheat at Meditation. Please welcome Farzana Jaffer Jeraj.
So wonderful to be up here after an amazing evening and a lineup of speakers. And so I'm going to change things up a little bit. I want to talk about life. As you all know, and you can see behind me, that life happens. And I know that you all know this because you're here today. So you were all born in some capacity. And you've all gone through a series of events to get here. And there are things that happen in our lives that are beautiful. There are things that happen that are absolutely and completely and positively incredible. And sometimes things just suck, right? And we don't usually want to admit it, but there are those times. I know for my parents, it was being kicked out of Africa in the 70s and having to find a new home somewhere and starting fresh. It's, world politics, turn on the news. But for most of us, it's that dream job. It's that moment that we've been working towards for years, maybe even our entire life, and it doesn't happen. Or maybe even more personal than that. You met the love of your life, or the person you thought they were the love of your life, and they don't love you back anymore. Something happened, and now it's over. And sometimes things just suck. So a lot of us do this thing, especially in my field of work, where we pretend that it's okay when it's not. We do this thing, we call it reframing, and we say, oh, it's not that bad, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. And the truth is, we're not necessarily being honest about it, because we can pretend that it's not okay, but really there are these moments when we don't want to get out of bed, when we don't want to accept the reality of the situation, that the sun will come up tomorrow. And even though we know it will come up tomorrow, it hurts, it's awful, and it feels yucky now. And people say, own it, feel it, process it, grieve it, let it go. And we want to grieve it. We want to let it go more than anything. If you feel that way, you can nod your head or raise your hands. Because we all know nobody wants to feel that way. We don't want to feel those horrible feelings. But in the moment, it can be so completely challenging because it sucks right now. And right now, it feels awful. So, the answer that came to me, and it was in one of those moments a long time ago in a conversation with someone over possibly the worst breakup of my life, almost dying, being in a hospital, and a whole bunch of other things that just, it would seem that everything had stopped. And there was this moment where I sat in meditation and I cleared to the best of my ability. I did everything that I could to grieve. I did everything that I could to let it all go. And it still wasn't really working because it really sucked in the moment. And what it dawned on me was that even in that state, even in that place where right now it feels awful, it was an awareness that I found of myself, even at the worst possible moment. And the thought came to my mind, remember who you are. Remember who you really are. And I decided I was someone before any of those things ever happened. I was someone before all of the events of my life ever happened. That someone that I'm talking about, perhaps even before I was born, but this is not about the soul. This is not about debating any of that stuff. This is the power of finding the essence of yourself and the creativity of your own mind and your own ability to perceive who you are in those moments when the legs under your metaphorical table have been knocked out and you have nothing left to be on. Who are you? I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. And as you close your eyes, I'd like you to go into yourselves. Whatever that means to you. Maybe it's your beliefs. Maybe it's your thoughts. Maybe it's a physical sensation in your body. And start to travel in your own mind, in your own awareness, in your memories. Go back. To that younger person. Perhaps when you were a teenager. Perhaps when there were choices you would have made a little differently. Go back further. To your childhood. Maybe your first day of school. The first friend you ever made. And it's okay if it wasn't good. It's okay if it was challenging. Go back even further. Go back all the way to when you were a child, a young child. And if you have children or have been around children, you see that little sparkle, that twinkle in their eyes. And I wonder if you can sense or have an awareness of that twinkle in your eyes when you were a child. And that twinkle, or even before that twinkle, there was something that was essentially you. Hold that now and allow yourself a moment to breathe into that essence of yourself, because this is who you truly are. You are not the things that happen in your life. You are not the events of your life. You are the choices you make today. And at every point in time, at every moment in time, even when things suck, you always have the ability to draw on that part of yourself, that purest, rawest potential, the blank slate within you, to be who you truly are today. Pema Chodron said it beautifully. You are the sky, not the weather. The clouds will pass in time, even in a city where it rains all the time like Vancouver. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much.